and welcome back to the Better It Gets podcast. Today I have Nikki Jade on, and Nikki is a pioneer in the science of body mind mapping and the founder of soulmedicine.com. For over 21 years, she has been on a mission to help people awaken their inner healer, guiding them to heal themselves, get off medication, and avoid unsafe surgeries. After overcoming celiac disease, chronic pain, and an irregular menstrual cycle, Nikki Jade dedicated her life to helping others tap into their body's innate wisdom. She has empowered thousands of people, including entrepreneurs, healers, and high performers, through her groundbreaking methods that combine science and spirituality. Nikki teaches women to decode their body's messages, transforming pain into purpose and guiding them to embody their true gifts. With a global presence, including a TEDx talk, Nikki Jade leads a tribe of medicine women, providing free resources and mentorship to help them awaken to their true power and create a life of freedom, abundance, and love. Welcome, Nikki.
Thanks, beautiful. Oh, it's so good to just see you and witness you in your power, interviewing other medicine women and just bringing a well of magic and wisdom to people. So thank you for what you're doing.
Thank you for being here. I'm really excited to dive into all of this. It's so important, and I've been so fascinated just since meeting you and following you online, and then just receiving the transmission of your playfulness and your wisdom. You have such a hummmingird spirit, but also this grounded mother, really connected to ancestral wisdom and the body wisdom. So I'm really excited to dive into this with you. And also, I just want to say for the listeners, Nikki has been posting a lot. She shares the piece on how much better can it get, right? How good can it get? And you can share on that at some point as well. And that is the prayer of the podcast. So right when I saw her share that, I was like, we need to have you on. And talk about how much better it really truly can get, and how your body is always signaling to you what is and isn't in alignment, and how to look at that instead of going to Western medical, and I'm not saying to completely disregard that, but if there are alternative ways that we can tend to ailment, I mean, I feel that it saves lives. So
Yeah. And I love that, some people they start in the Western world, right? It's kind of like where I started when I got snuck into the doctor's office. I ended up putting a camera down and endoscopy and look at my intestines and go, you have celiac disease. And I'm like, what is that? And so it was really cool to have the science kind of start my journey, right? And do I prefer to get cut open or take something outside of myself, medication, if I don't have to? No, right? None of us would. So we like to get to that place where you're in sync with yourself so much that you don't even have to go, right? And we work with all different kinds of women and people who've had breast cancer, right? And they've had to go through the whole thing, but then they're like, I don't want it to come back. So I actually want to understand what the root cause message is. Because we've all heard of that story, right? Where like someone gets cancer and gets rid of it, does all the things, and then it comes back, right? Or someone injures their knee and then it happens again in the same spot. It must be that knee. Or it's our body giving us a message in that exact spot, right? Or that exact organ, right? Whichever way our body's talking to us. The body mind map is what I use to go look it up to go, okay, like our body is our subconscious mind. And whenever we experience pain, right? It's like, could it be a signal from the universe through this beautiful vessel we get to live in for this incarnation and lifetime? Could it be a signal going, hey, there's something inside of you that's like outdated and you're doing this whole big upgrade and it really there's no room for it anymore, like that layer. People who've been doing
mm,
personal development work and they're like, oh, this again, but it's a different layer. Right? Like, am I ever going to be healed? And it's a deeper layer. And so the deeper that we go to the root, we get to then heal at the core and come out and vibe and love and have fun and play, right? You said I have mama energy, and I am a mom of three. I'm begging my hubby to have one more because I'm crazy. And so I love everything mamahood. And I knew that was like the start of my journey of my why, even before I had babies. I was like, I know I want to be a mama one day to my own babies that I like have pregnant and then birth and then breastfeed. And I want the whole thing. And so I had this big why when my menstrual cycle just completely stopped for 9 months. I hated it so much that I was like praying to God, like, please make this go away every month. I hated it. And then, of course, our prayers get answered, right? It just completely stopped. And by the third month, I started everything to try and get it back because I knew my why, right? I knew I wanted to be a mama and have a healthy cycle and womb. And so I think for anyone on this journey of expansion, it's like really connecting with that why that's going to pull you through this journey of listening because pain ain't fun, right? Pain is like, go away. I mean, if anyone normal is out there with us, whenever pain comes, we're like, what do I have to do to get rid of this, right? And many of us go to like avoid or numb first because just too much, right? We're just trying to get through all the things and all the pieces of life, right? So if the pain's too much, we numb. And I don't want anyone to make themselves wrong if they are numbing. This is one of the things I love at Soul Medicine. It's like come with unconditional love to yourself, right? Like if that's where you're at, fuck yeah. Like, excuse me. Heck
We
yeah.
cuss.
I married an Australian and it's just like not even, it doesn't even have any energy. So here we are. We don't want to like feel the pain. We want to move it along. And so just to wrap up this intro, the approach that I love to take when moving through healing pain is really being with it for a second. Even if it's for a second. Like start just opening up that door of possibility that, oh, there could be a message in this for me right now. And then hold it for as long as you can. And if you don't have support around you to hold you through it and guide you through it, hold your hand, right? You know how we go. Like queens like to have people supporting her, right? You know this. Your listeners know this. It's like you feel like a new woman after you book yourself that massage or talk to that therapist, right? Or hire that coach or book that flight, whatever it is that you've been wanting to do. It's like your next level is like right there with you.
Mm, so beautiful. Yeah, and it's interesting how often we forget that or we don't gift that to ourselves. Just like even the simple yet profound practice of just sitting with our pain, sitting with our emotions, and being the student of it instead of being so afraid of it. And I think there's so much metaphor and symbology in the way in which we approach our pain. I mean, I'm still an active student of it all the time. I've had like mysterious ailments come up in my body that I feel like have gone away and then they come back up and then I go into fear. And then I remember, oh wait, no, this fear isn't serving this thing or me. How can I be in love? How can I like fill it with light? How can I like take the steps to mother and nurture myself through this instead of avoiding and then having this kind of hypochondriac like mind about it that's running in the background while I'm doing my amazing life. It's like, wait, but remember me? I'm still this unresolved piece in the background. So, what are some steps? You said the body mind map, and how do you hold your clients through understanding what these ailments or these pieces are and getting to that root?
Ooh, I love the inner standing. It's so true. It literally is that. It literally is the understanding of why this subconscious repeating pattern, right? You said like something will come up, and we can talk in detail later if you want, but something will come up, and then you'll do something to like move it along, or it'll go away, or you'll actively get rid of it, and then it'll come back another time, right? And so you're noticing this pattern. That's like the first step of transformation is like, what are the patterns that are showing up that are trying to tell you something? Because it's coming with the same message, just different details,
Hmm.
right? So the universe will help us get this message in different characters in our movie and different scenarios and different heartaches, right?
Totally.
So you
Mm.
first want to look for those patterns, which is amazing. Secondly, we teach you how to use the body mind map for yourself, which is the whole entire body. So it's not like a one-time thing. What it'll do is it'll come with the questions, it'll come with the points, the topics that sit in that specific part of the body. So
Mm.
I share in my TEDx talk how our body is organized just like Office Depot. Like if you go into Office Depot and you're looking for a blue pen, right? And you ask the front desk, like, where are your blue pens? And you're like, aisle 11, row 4, bin 2. You'll find blue pens. And it's the same with our body. It's like, what's going on in that right shoulder? Like, what's there
Mm.
underneath it that's coming up with a message? Or the acne that's in that specific part of the body, right? So you start to look, then you look it up in the body mind map and you're like, oh my God, that's exactly what I'm dealing with right now. And then we walk you through the freedom method on how to actually navigate through it to be your own transformation, right? So
Mm.
we teach this in Heal Your Life Now. We have a group that's just finishing. It comes with like 6 live calls, and to see them on the fifth, we're in the fifth week, the fifth live call from the first one, to watch them go on the journey that my husband and I have just refined so much over 2 decades of doing this work. It's like, okay, listen, mamas out there, entrepreneurs out there, wifeys to be who's planning a wedding, whatever it is that you are going through and holding, it's a lot. So our capacity to hold unnecessary information is at a minimum, right? And so we've gone through Heal Your Life Now and just pulled out the stuff like, just watch this one 15-minute video today, get this one lesson, and start
Mm.
to transform. So step by step, you start to walk yourself through your own transformation, your own breakthrough, right? That's why we're like, awaken your healer within. So you don't need to go to another physical therapist or a doctor in Sitio, of like, if you don't need to, right? So we just want you to have your own empowered way of living. And we use the body pain as our gateway to get insight into our subconscious mind, which is our blind spot, right? We have repeating patterns because we're unaware of them at this moment, right? We have friends and mentors and coaches that reflect, right? They're like, oh, there's a blind spot. And you're like, oh, this feels familiar. I should look at this.
Mm.
And then you make connections and you have that inner standing that you mentioned. And in the inner standing, in the actual conscious understanding from your conscious navigating it, not afraid to look at it, you set up a sacred space where you're like, I'm going in. We were just
Mm.
saying this in Soulmate, and we have this awesome new rebranding with like cheetahs. They are so sexy. And I had this visual of like the cheetahs with the wild part, right? Even the rage and the betrayal and the fears that come up. And then we had this image of the ladies as these goddesses that were like riding them through to the other side. And they're riding them armored in love, right? They
Mm.
have this shield of love where they just keep returning to love. Like
Mm.
they consciously walk through it. And that's what I love about body mind mapping, is it shows us exactly where to look so that the time from when we're in pain to when we're back in love is so short, right? We shorten it and we get back to living in love.
Mm. So beautiful.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, if everything, and I love how Marianne Williamson says, everything that is not, and she pulls this from A Course in Miracles, everything that is not love is a mass hallucination. And everything is either love or a call for love. So if there's an ailment or a stuck piece, what I'm hearing too is like that's a piece that is out of alignment vibrationally with love and with the true fabric of who we are. And so it's like there's a gift there for us. However, there's a transformational process that we get to go through and be the student of with whatever that ailment is to get back to like a holistic way of being.
Yes. Oh, you said like come back to love and like being it. And it's like God is love, right? So it's really how present can we be? And our subconscious mind is all of our past programming. It's all of our, I call it limiting BS, our limiting belief systems that are just like, you can't, you're not good enough, you're not smart enough. Whoa, and that voice that we get to actually welcome and actually take the stage, right? We love to give our ladies 6 weeks, like, you shine the light on all of you. And we're going to start with your body. So it's all about inventory of where's your body talking to you? What's your repeating patterns? Do you have stiff necks, low back pain, right ankle, right? How's your eyesight? Is it getting worse or has it changed? How's your hearing? Your skin, your hair thickness, like all of it, your weight. Have you put on extra weight or are you having a hard time digesting and absorbing nutrients, right? And so we get to look at the holistic picture of someone, of where you're at right now, and tie it through a thread into, oh my God, you're living your dream life. Like, let's go. And to watch that happen in 6 weeks is literally, Zoe, why I'm still doing this 21 years later, like a ninja. I can't help myself. It's so fun.
I mean, the medicine of your spirit is so radiant. It's just, yeah, it speaks for itself. And 21 years, it's funny because I was just talking to Derek recently, and Derek, for those of you listening, Derek is our dear brother, and Derek and Nikki have been really close for a long time, I believe 15 years. And I told him you were coming on the podcast, and he's like, in almost 2 decades, she is exactly the same. She's one of the like OG life coaches. And I was like, amazing.
I love that. Oh, what a sweet reflection to, be a stand. 21 years ago, no one was talking about the ego. Yoga was from the devil, just stretching and being in your body, breath work, all the things that I was preaching. People are like, you're freaking weird. I'm like, I'll take the heat, baby, because it works.
So I would love to hear, yeah, how did you get started? I know you kind of shared a little bit about your story, but like 21 years ago, and what has that arc line of your career as a life coach been like?
Yeah, girl. Oh, well, it all started with my wife wanting to be a mama and chasing my womb health. So I was trying everything to get it back, all the things, you name it. And then one of my friends was like, because I'm one of those people watchers. So I'm living in New York City. I would literally, after work, before happy hour and dancing my pain away, I would just sit on a bench and people watch and just like try and understand like what their dynamic is. And I'm a projector in human design too, which I'm so people oriented. I'm like, who are you? Right? 80% of the planet is like, who am I? And 20% of the planet is like, who are you? And so it's so cool to have an outlet for that. My friend invited me to a workshop in New York City. $100. It was a big stretch for me at the time. I'm like, I'm gonna go because I love body language. This fascinating man, my mentor Coyote, he was teaching just about body language. He was this genius. I talk about him in my TEDx talk and his story. Brain disease, was able to see people's energy, mapped it all out, put it into a system. Before he died, he's like, Nikki, you need to carry on my work. And I'm like, we're going to do it together. Yes, I'm your number one fan because he helped me get my period back. Okay. So I was all in. He taught me about it. He asked me one question, and I was like, bawled my eyes out more than I've cried in my entire life. And I just literally was like, I need to know everything from this man. So my $100 investment ended up turning into a 10K investment with me having a money story about the $100, right? But then it was in such alignment because he asked me one question. I started crying, had the whole breakthrough. He made his offer, and I was like, no, I can't do that. The next morning I woke up and my period came back full on flow. I knew it was because of our time together and the magic and the healing that he had and the wisdom. And so I was like, I called his assistant. I was like, can you work out a payment plan? I have no clue how I'm going to come up with 10K, but I am. And I just worked it out, babe. And it opened up the next 20 years of my life, right? Of,
Wow.
oh my God, this is my destiny as well. And he helped me heal
Chills.
my celiac disease. So I started just because he helped me get my period back. And I just wanted to learn everything. And then he's like, I was like, yeah, but sad story, you want to hear it? He's like, yeah, tell me. I'm like, Italian Lebanese girl, the biggest foodie
I'm
on the
Italian
planet.
Lebanese too.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. We were on New Year's together and we were freaking dropped into we are Italian Lebanese twins. Sister,
Oh.
Italian Lebanese sisters. And so he's like, "All right," and I'm like, and I got diagnosed with celiac disease, which 20 years ago nobody knew what gluten was, right? Like
Mm.
I had to describe to the fanciest chefs in New York City, like, so this gluten, this breadcrumb is a gluten, this soy sauce is gluten, the beer is gluten, and I just couldn't eat out anymore. So I just went into my own little wah wah. But when we go to that low place of allowing ourselves, like literally all my vices were cut off. I couldn't drink my vodka drink because it had gluten in it. I couldn't eat. And so I was stuck with myself and all
Mhm.
of the pain I was in. And I went so deep with God that my mentor appeared on the other side because I prayed for help. And God, I usually think God opens doors for us, but we need to have the courage to walk through them, right? And that
Mhm.
was me figuring it out, going, I need to learn what this man knows. And then he tells me he can help me heal my celiac disease, which I was told I had it for life, babe. Like, I just
Mm.
accepted that at the time. I was like, this is what I have for life. And hopefully, New York City will open more than one baby cakes gluten-free bakery that I spent my entire paycheck on.
Oh my
$14
goodness.
cupcake, right? And so when he helped me heal that, I'm just sold for life, right? I would go out with my Italian boyfriend at the time and he'd have a piece of pizza and I would literally smell it and not eat it because I would die. I was told if I would eat it. And so I had to overcome all this fear of me, like, there can't be a breadcrumb. That's why it was crazy. And so
Mm.
then I have a bite of his pizza after I start working with my mentor. I'm like, my mentor says I can heal this. And what we're talking about right now, he knew where to go with the conversation because my intestines were the ones talking to me. And he can
Mm.
see what energy lives there. And it's a map for everybody.
So
So
he was talking to your intestines,
yeah, he was talking to
basically.
me
You were talking to your
to what
intestines.
message my intestines was needing to come up and be
Right.
heard. Because when we hear and get the message, I sound like a crazy woman right now. But when we get the message, the pain does go away. And
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was crazy at first. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't actually believe until I experienced it,
Mm.
right? And then I'm like, oh my gosh, pain is kind of optional. And it's hard to hear that for some people that are in so much pain, right? That's like, no, it's not. This is not optional, or a really bad diagnosis, right? But our body talks to us at three different levels. There's a feather, there's a brick, and there's a truck. And so sometimes we've just been ignoring the feathers and the bricks because we're so busy and we have to keep pushing and there's bills to pay and there's things to do and boyfriends to be found, blah, blah, blah. And then the Mack truck comes in, right? This is where there's cancer or something that's really big, a broken bone, that's big, right? Stuff like that where we're like, damn,
Mm.
have we been that disconnected from our body that right now has to scream to us?
Mm.
Because I believe like God is good, the universe is benevolent,
Mm-hmm.
and our body is going to give us messages, our best friend. Like the pain comes with a message. Don't shoot the messenger, right? So we welcome it, right? And if you're wise and you appreciate your time and your preciousness of life, you will have support around you to break through, to help that see your blind spots, right? And move back into love and the vibration. Because when you're in love and you're having so much fun playing pickleball or something, you could maybe forget, or reading a book, you maybe can forget about the pain. It's not until you get back into the habit of, oh, you got to go open your laptop, or oh, you got to go do the laundry, or cook for the kids, or something that is carrying a story with it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, carrying the story and noticing what those things are that trigger that peace or trigger that pain. Like you said earlier, that awareness. There's so much I want to backtrack on. The
Great.
first thing that was really coming through is you said that your mentor, Coyote, asked you a question and that just broke open the floodgates. What was the question?
I've gotten this asked before. It's so funny. I'm gonna save the question because it goes with the body mind mapping journey and my deep personal story, right? And
Okay.
so it's just so,
I had to ask,
you
and
know,
I
I
totally
don't
honor
want
the
to,
sacredness of it.
I just want to give it the context. Like if we're
Right.
gonna go there, I'm gonna paint the whole picture instead of just the one sentence. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying?
So
So
let's
where
bookmark
do you want
that.
us to go? Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
We'll bookmark that and see if that wants to, yeah. So, the other piece is the importance around the menstrual cycle in the womb. And I think this is a huge piece to touch on for women because so many women in the West, myself included, have, or in the past, have a very distorted relationship with menstruation because we haven't been taught the beauty and the power and the sacredness of our bleed. And I remember, I was on birth control when I was younger, and around 16, my intuition was like, get the fuck off of this. It was like, get off of this. There's something so synthetic and unnatural about this. And I got off of it, and I had like really intense mood swings and hormonal breakouts, and my body was like going through so much. My boobs shifted form, and I was like, whoa, I'm really glad that this is out of my system. And then, of course, had like an interesting relationship with my bleed because, it's like, okay, we get our bleed. This is inconvenient. We need to go to work. We shove a tampon, up our yoni, and we just call it a day, and then we push through. Or it's like, it's so unrealistic the way we're expected to navigate the world as women that are cyclical beings with this life force potency. I mean, the reason we bleed and our uterine lining sheds is so that we can create life. And so it's like we haven't been taught how to be in relationship and right relation with our anatomy. And I just want to share quickly that with the way that I came into blood magic was so auspicious, similar to your story. There were these divine breadcrumbs and this like yearning to meet God in these deeper pockets. And I had to go through this rite of passage initiation, dark night of the soul, where no one could hold me. And I had to get rid of all my vices. I smoked weed every day for 7 years. I couldn't eat or sleep or have my menstrual cycle without smoking. And then I was led to this group of women, these 4 women that were all 2 to 3 times my age. I was like 21, they were in their 40s and 50s, and I was just like wide-eyed at the brilliance of these medicine women that were from all around the world. So it was a diverse sisterhood container that we ended up calling ourselves the Coven. And at this point, didn't know anything about the divine feminine, didn't know anything about coven consciousness, didn't know anything about womb magic, blood magic, earth magic, none of it. It was through being offline. Like I didn't have social media. I was 21. I was going through these massive, what I call my human awakening versus my spiritual one. Because I was on the spiritual ascension path since I was 16. And then 21 was like, goddess was like, no, you're dropping in and you're descending. You're not ascending, and you're going to meet the feminine. And I hadn't had my period for about 3 months. And I too was getting really worried. And one of the sisters, I've shared this story many times. I'm sure some of you have heard it, but one of the sisters, beautiful sister from India named Salmia, she held space for me and she's like, Zoe, I want you to just look into my eyes. And that's it. No stories, just presence. And I did. And on maybe the second minute or third minute, I just started wailing from my soul. Like just the deepest wailing and being witnessed in that deep vulnerability. And then she put her hand on my womb and started kind of touching this piece where I guess I was releasing from. And she's like, go to the bathroom and look at yourself in the mirror. And right when I went to the bathroom, my blood came. I had this huge purge and I looked in the mirror and I saw myself for the first time ever, like the deepest love presence. And I call that moment the first day of the rest of my life. And I was literally reborn in this coven of sacred sisterhood. And then I was guided to go with another one of the Indian sisters who's a doctor. She recently passed, unfortunately, but she was a huge bridge in my life story, lifeline. And she invited me to the earth and was like, let's put our feet on the earth. And then she messaged to me, stop smoking weed. It's a crutch. And the reason you're having sleep paralysis is because other entities, there's like psychic attack happening and your spirit needs to anchor back into your body. And that means no smoking, no drinking, like none of the vices. And anytime I would try to go back to it, I would get like a pounding, throbbing headache, or just God was just like, nope, nope. And then I broke up with my boyfriend of almost 3 years. Like it was a huge clearinghouse to set the trajectory for the Dharma. But the the blood magic in coherence with earth magic was life changing. And I feel that this is a beautiful piece to dive into for women because I had realized that I was numbing myself from the sensation of my connection to my womb, and that the cramps that I was feeling it wasn't actually pain, it was sensation. And it was my womb speaking to me. And so I realized, oh, if I don't smoke weed, I get to actually feel my womb and be in this beautiful communion with her and with my body. And so then it started becoming, and it still is, my favorite time of the month because it's the time that I get to create my moon cave. I get to feed myself whatever I want. If I want chocolate chip pancakes or if I want brownies for breakfast and a cup of cacao, like that's what I'm gifting to myself because this is my time with the goddess. This is my time to be in my oracle to create. And so that reframe of the menstrual cycle and the ways in which we get to be with our womb and our bleed, and we get to release with it and be in ritual and prayer with it, and then offer it back to the earth with prayer and reverence and seed our prayer in our yard, grid the land, right? I would love to dive into all of this with you because I know some of the women that listen to the podcast maybe have not gone into the sacred practice of menstruation yet.
Yeah. Oh, isn't it so beautiful to have the relationship with our cycle change where it actually is not something that we resist, right? Many of our clients and myself included, I would spend a week in horrible pain, then a week recovering from the pain, then like a week off of, oh my God, okay, I feel like myself, and then literally a week before it comes, worrying about it coming next week. So like
And you're PMSing, you're in luteal. Yeah.
yeah. And so like literally three weeks out of the month was dedicated to the pain of a menstrual cycle. Right. And so to be able to transform that to now something that we look forward to, something that's like, come on. And it's like sometimes for me, and you said you lost yours for 3 months too, but when you lose something, then it's like, oh my God, when you get it back, it's like, oh, I'm so sorry that I ever say anything bad about you, complained about
Took
you.
you for granted.
Granted, right? Didn't welcome you. Um, and so then when you get it back and you realize that you're freaking healthy and you're actually not in pain every month, right? Because and sometimes the pain is there. Like I remember I worked through my stuff with my mentor. I went through the body mind map for cramps, for headaches, for low back pain, for acne, all the things that I would display every month, right? And each layer go deeper and then that goes away, right? So then I'm left with, okay, now I'm good. I love it. But before I got pregnant, I had one cycle, the last one, that was so intense. Like I've never had cramps like that in my life. And I was like, I went to the body mind map and I'm like, okay, God, like I'm not resisting this. No, I'm not holding on to that. And God was like, I love you. Like you go to the body mind map, but this is your preparation for what it's going to be like to birth a baby. Just wanted you to feel it fresh because you're about to get pregnant. And I was like, oh, and I got like the chills and I welcomed those cramps like never before. I breathed through them. I was like, baby, I got you. Right. And it's exactly how I was able to have a beautiful, all natural, by the third one, orgasmic birth, right? Where it's like, it doesn't have to be painful, right? Sure, it's intense, those cramps. They were taking all my attention. I was like, nothing else exists, right? And so you get to bring that into the birthing experience. So to highlight what you were saying of the importance of your womb health, especially for women like where you are and where I was, and where other women are of, wow, I might want to have babies. Oh my God, there might be another person like living in my womb. I should probably put some energy there and like do a little house cleaning. Right? This little light being has some high standards. And so you go on your journey of doing all these little soul washes and cleanses and releasing just to keep purifying. So when that baby comes in, it's done in such love, and it's
Mm-hmm.
grown in love, and it's nurtured in love, and it's birthed in love, and then it's
Mm-hmm.
fed and kept alive in love.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have these magical beings walking the planet where you're watching a new earth happen right before your eyes,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? So we have it all. We're all connected.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'm tearing up because that's it. That's actually what started my whole journey was I was in like just through following the breadcrumbs, I was asked to come. I think I was 18. No, I was 20. And I was asked to come like help my mom's friend with some like office work. And then her two twin 5-year-old girls were there and we just like fell in love. And she saw me with her daughters and she's like, "Can you come back and watch them? Like you're so good with them." And I was like, "I actually need a job right now and this feels really sweet." And those girls changed my entire life. Like every day I would come there and just being with them and being in their presence, they were my greatest teachers. They reflected back my eternal innocence, my holy innocence, and helped me like dissolve all my masks, all of the self hatred, everything that I was harboring that wasn't in love they mirrored back to me. And then there was also, they had a dog named Alfie, and he was like my little soulmate. So I would come over and they would walk down the stairs at like 7 a.m. with their little teddy bears. They'd be like, "Zoe." And then Alfie would run up to me and he would curl up in my lap and just stare into my soul. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is love. And then I recognized just the absorbency of them and how they really just they're these sponges for the energetics, not even just what we say. And because I was so closely knit in that timeline with them, I didn't really have much of a social life. I was healing. I was on this very deep soul quest and journey, and they were huge characters in my dharma and my healing. And I realized, oh, I am doing this work for my babies. I'm doing this work for the future generations. And then I got really passionate about preserving the consciousness of children, creating conscious media for children. I came up with like a whole storybook I wanted to create. And that was what invited me into the space where I met all these sisters because they felt my passion about the preservation of children's consciousness and about how, yeah, when we are in that space of love and when we do this alchemical work inside of our own wombs and we do this clearing of past imprintation and past stories and what we've been encoded with from our matrilineal line of what they're carrying in their wombs, their hatred toward the masculine, their hatred toward themselves, hatred toward our anatomy as women. When we start to do that clearing and that healing, it's literally like re-sanctifying the inner temple. And then when we are in that co-creational process and when we're impregnated by God with our little, soulmate baby, it'll be a clean house and it'll be a clean timeline for them to birth into. And then that also starts with the foundation of our love with our beloved, which I know you've been in partnership for. I would love for you to share about your partnership and how all of this has helped in your birthing of the new earth through your babies.
Oh, you covered so much goodness there. Oh, yes to preserving children's consciousness. And like they just drop in once you hold your own baby that just got dropped in from the heavens. You just have this knowing inside of you that they're just angels and perfect and divine. And then you just do everything you can to protect them, right? It's so sweet. And that's why I know I could talk about science of body mind mapping forever. But that's why specifically, like when my daughter was 7, she was using the body mind map, asking me like if I stubbed my toe, she's like, "Oh, mommy, what were you thinking just now?" And she'll take me on the journey. She'll open up the body mind map and ask me about the right big toe, right? And so I'll be like, "That is so accurate, like unbelievable." And so she now has the tool that if she ever scrapes her knee or her brother does, she opens it and uses it to get back into love, right? Because sometimes things happens in this world and there's sometimes not nice people out there, and it's just to have our toolkit to keep us aligned in love, even when we do get hurt or, taken advantage of or betrayed, all that stuff that happens with loving, giving people sometimes. we get back into love and living there. So where are we going with this? Ask me the question again.
Where when you and like your timeline with your beloved, the love that you two have had like really anchored into before having your babies. Because
Oh
when I
my
met you, the way you were speaking about your husband and just so lit up about him was so beautiful.
Oh, babe, it is so fun when, because I know we were speaking, because there's single mamas out there too, and they get to vibe in love for your children, even if you don't have that other partner. Even if you're like single and you're maybe open to love, or maybe you're not yet, you still get to be that vibration for love. And then, Zoe, when we add in the partner, because you get married, when you come together, it kind of just amplifies, right? It's like, whoa. And it's either going to amplify triggered relationships that are in wound relationship, right? And then it's like, oh man, we're healing still or again, and you're in the chaos of it, or you walk through that consciously with tools and you're in
Hmm.
this vibration of love where your kids are just free to be, right? They don't have to be on guard or on edge like many of us did, where the consciousness of the planet wasn't where it's at today, 40, 50 years ago. It was like, do your work, go to school, get a good job. Now people are like, it's a lot different.
And I love that we kind of came full circle with the conversation where it's like really anchoring into your why
Yeah.
and having that be the driving force.
Totally. And I think that why was so deep inside of me that even when I did meet my beloved, right, that was 16 years ago when we met, we got married after 2 hours of knowing each other.
Oh my
And I
gosh.
knew I had to know right then and there in those 2 hours if this is a man that I want to make babies with. Like, that was my question,
How
right?
did you know?
That was the start because I was working with my mentor. I was so in alignment. I healed myself
Mm.
with celiac disease. I was empowering other people. I was working with presidential candidates and celebrities that were like, dude, this is helping my family. Can you also work with my neighbor and my friend? And my whole business just grew on referrals in a beautiful playground for millionaires and billionaires in La Jolla, where they were like, oh my God, have you heard of Nikki Jade? So it started in this organic referral way because the science works, right? And so, I would go there and I was at this place where I'm like, I love my life. Like, I don't need a man.
Mhm.
Finally, because up till then, being a mama, wanting to be a mama, I'm like, who am I going to marry and have babies with all the time?
Mhm.
Ever since I got my period. It's like, it's crazy. And so I finally knew that God was going to bring him to me at the perfect time. I was like, and I did a whole ritual, right? Our God fairy mother, Ariel Ford, she wrote Soulmate Secrets. I did her book. Mav had her book. We both were like in such, I'm ready for you.
You
Like,
you and your beloved both had her book
yep.
and were
And
doing
he was
her
doing
book.
Tony Robbins and like all of this stuff in Australia. And I was over here doing my like dream man list. And like I did this ritual over at the beach with seaweed where I wrote down like I was so at this place, Zoe, where I had to surrender because I was obsessed.
Mhm.
You know how you give up your, yeah.
I
I
want to speak into that because I have a lot of incredible, incredible sisters right now who are in this space.
mm-hmm. Mm.
Obsessed. It's all they think
Well,
about.
let
It's
me
all they
tell
talk about. They go places, they put themselves in places just to find their man. And it's like there's no, I was telling my fiance this last night. I was like, ooh, I feel like my energy has been really activated and there's a lot of momentum. So it's 222 right now. It's going out a lot, which means there's no magnetism because it's going out and it's going toward the things so much. And that's the feminine art, is being able to pull back and fully let go. So I would love to
you. Yes.
dive into that because I do have amazing sisters right now,
Oh my
amazing
God.
sisters that are
Oh my
obsessed.
God, babe, you are so inspiring me and all the ladies that you're talking about to literally by the time this is published, I just want to walk them through the detailed journey for free of exactly what I did to let go and get into alignment because this is the most to me the most important question of your life, the most important decision of your life, right? It's either gonna make this most magical divine life that you've been privately working on yourself and now
Mm-hmm.
it's going to be amplified with someone in alignment or it's going to be oh my God, another repeating pattern of a daddy wound layer or something with the universe and God and a belief, right? Just go there and then make space and alignment. So, anyway, your ladies, if they need help, I would love to share with them in detail. But I'll tell you this part of it. I was at the beach. I had seaweed. It was all washed up at shore. And I got to this place where I was like, I'm done, God. Like, I surrender. I'm going to do everything I can. I got super crystal clear on what I wanted. And I went down there and I go, God, take this seaweed. And now I wrote in letters, I made art first. It wrote, I love you, 40 feet long. Like it took me hours
Oh.
all day doing this prayer, writing, I love you, giving it to God. People were walking above because at this beach you had to walk down a couple stairs and then there's the beach. And people were walking on the sidewalk above, like, I love you too. And I was
Aw.
like just swimming in the love. I'm like, oh my God, this is perfect. Like, this is great. God, I'm with you. You got me and I can trust you and I'm just gonna let go. Right. And so I wrote I love you and I finally finished it, took pictures, and then I said, let the ocean take this seaweed, wash it out to the waters, let him touch this water and my intention, and let him come to me. Like medicine woman full on right now. I'm like talking to the waters and letting the waters know to just, I'm done chasing. When the time is right, when the person is right, just bring him to me on my path. And girl, I was out for my run as I do sometimes in the morning. And God was like, sprint to the cove, this place. And I was like, oh my God, like a couple miles. And it was like the full on sprint, no jogging, no stopping, just sprint. And I sprinted as fast as I could run. And I had my friend's dog with me. So we were huffing and puffing. He hasn't ran so fast, but he's gonna sleep good tonight. So I put my foot up on the railing to stretch. Finally, I get to the cove. I put my foot up on the railing. I'm looking out at these huge waves. And, I'm into body language. So I'm always looking at everything around me. There's nobody there. And I'm like, wow, it's so quiet today. It's like a tourist spot. And so I look up on this side, and there's this one person, this one man comes up to the railing, puts his foot up on the railing the same exact time as I did. And I was like I took note of, oh my God, we're like exactly mirroring each other. And I went down to stretch and he went down to stretch. And I was like, so I felt this energy there. And I was like, what the? And he knew, okay, babe, I don't think he told you his half of the story yet. Oh my
Mm-mm.
God. Like, I'm gonna let him tell you, but I'm gonna give you the cliff notes. He was manifesting me. Like, he
Mm.
was in Rome at Trevi Fountain doing a hardcore prayer with 3 coins over his shoulder. And he got this vision of a 50-meter beach tucked inside a tiny rock cove. And he traveled the world for a year looking for that beach.
Oh my God, I have
He's
like so many waves of chills going through my whole body.
like, take me to the beach. Take me to the coastline. And he would look for the vision that he had and he couldn't find it. He ended up at the cove in La Jolla and he knew this was the spot where he was going to meet his soulmate. And so he went down every day. I was basically his last day and he was giving it up to God. He went down every day, talked to every woman, going, oh my God, are you the one? Are you the one? Like he knew he was going to meet her there. I know. I wish I could have been like a butterfly watching all this. So we met and he knew I was the one right away.
Mm.
And yeah, there we are. 16 years later, 3 babies, working on 4
Wow.
one day. I don't know.
Yeah. Wow, so beautiful. And thank you for sharing this story. And
Yeah.
what this really highlights is I wholeheartedly believe that for those who feel like they are encoded for union and for this level of like mythic, magical union, cinematic union, that there's a reason that's there. So like your story just really highlighted that on both ends for you and for him. You both felt it. You were both calling each other in. You knew you were destined for it. And then you followed the signs and the synchronicities, right? So I feel that's why some people get so hyper obsessed with it. And then there does come this point, especially as the feminine, right? If your man's manifesting you and he's doing all of this work in this prayer, right? And you have already. Okay, so then what is the feminine art? It's to fully let it go and to rest back into love, because that's the only way you can be a magnet for it. And then paying attention to what I call the little flirts from God that are like, oh, go to the cove, sprint to the cove, and then like being in that moment, right? So that you can be present for it. I remember the other day I was with one of my dear sisters who's calling in her beloved, and I know he's on his way. But I was out with her in Austin, and then I had eyes for her, because this is what I do for my people. I start to tune into like what their grid is, and then I start to have eyes for them too. And there were these two perfect suitors for her. Oh, one of them, she was like looking down at her phone, so she didn't see it. So sometimes it's nice too to have, your people, your medicine women that are with you, that are in the prayer with you. But I love that you used earth magic to really like, okay, and that comes back to
Did
just
she did she meet a guy?
she
Did you hook
is
her up with
in
somebody?
she's connecting with prospects, but I think it was more so like, hey babe, look at these beautiful, potential suitors that are like right
Yeah.
here. Because sometimes the story is
You like them?
when she saw both of them, we were all three sitting in my car and we looked at this one man who was on his bike on the side. We're like, holy fuck, he's beautiful.
So fun.
It was so fun. And
What
it was
are
like,
sisters for, babe?
yeah, we're like all in the moment together. But it's like
So
something I
good.
want to offer too is like, how can there, in Nikki, you have this so beautifully, but like the playful approach.
Hmm.
Like, how can we invite some play into something that really does feel so prophetic and
Hmm.
big? But
Hmm.
how can we invite some play, some
I would,
prayer, and work with the elements?
yes. Okay, this is what I would do to make it playful, easy. Us busy people, we don't got time for lots of stuff. This is what you're gonna do, and it's gonna be life-changing because it was for me and so many of our ladies, and it's so easy. What you're gonna do is get either lipstick or a whiteboard marker. Test it before you do, but in your bathroom mirror, you're gonna write across the top in however form you like, what would I love? Question mark. Every time this is going to train you, and literally it's like your coach bringing you back to love, because sometimes we get so caught in our head or something feels so triggered or so heavy or so real or intense, and we dwell in it, and then the spiral starts, and then da 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 da. And so when you go in the bathroom, brush your teeth, hopefully you do that at least twice a day, right? You want to look in the mirror and go, what would I love, right? And so you're like, oh yeah, what would I love? And this is the number one thing I would suggest for anyone calling in your person is to do more of what you would love. I swear, you guys, I met him because I was swimming in bliss. I was finally like, I don't need a man. I'm so happy. And like every day was just pure fun, right? I created my business. I was sharing healing work. So there, do the work of getting into alignment of like putting the pieces in place, and it is work, right? Like there I had business mentors I had to hire to teach me how to package my magic, like I don't know, I'm a fish swimming in the water. What are you talking about, water? Like, so to have that focus, but the intention is you're doing it because you love doing it, right? Like you're creating your business because you love changing people's lives and impacting them, right? And with your medicine, your presence, your being. So
Yes, I
get
love
into
that. Yeah, well, because you're moving from love instead of for love.
it.
And I,
Exactly.
I love that. I love the lipstick because that's very feminine and
And kiss it.
pretty.
You gotta
Yeah,
put some on, kiss it.
kiss it. Yeah, I love to kiss my prayer papers. And I love that you said you were swimming in bliss when he found you. Similarly with Teddy, I was not looking. I was in a space of like full, my ego was being obliterated to oneness, and I was like, my human was going through so many processes. And I remember I had just had this visceral, profound, prophetic awakening with this man who called himself a Buddha, who basically sat me down and helped explain an accidental DMT ceremony that I had that shot me into fractal consciousness. And I basically died. And I was trying to like figure out how to human again for months. And I went to him and he looked at me in the eyes and was like, Zoe, you're not who you think you are. This is you are an infinite being, and I had already had that download, right? That's why I have the infinity on my left wrist. But he was like, time doesn't exist. Like, this is one iteration of many iterations, right? And the way that he shared it with me, the oneness, I really dropped into it, and I came home, I was like crying. I was a mess because it's like, how do I move forward knowing this? Do other people know this? Am I alone in this? And then my mom's like, Zoe, just put on some yoga clothes and come with me to an ecstatic dance yoga class. She was a part of this community. She knew my fiance before I did. They were friends first. Yeah. So I came with her. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna come. And I came and I'm like dancing. My hair is all wild and curly and I have braces and I'm just like in my full, like, I'm like in my own process, like I'm Zoe and I'm human and I'm gonna be fully me and fully human. And then like on the other side of the room is Teddy. And he was like watching me and he was on a date and he was like, oh, I'm with the wrong woman. And that was a whole journey in and of itself. But when we met, I remember he had a group of people around him that were super locked into his transmission of he was speaking on truth and how truth doesn't really exist. But all I could think about was our oneness. So I came over and I'm like, are you talking about the fact that we're all one? And he was like, not really, but I guess you could tie that into this. And ever since that moment, it was like this very cinematic way of needing to know each other and then being where we are now. But to highlight what you were sharing, I wasn't looking. The one practice that I will share that's helped me with every man that I've been with, that I've had a profound experience with, and with Teddy, is I sat down and I really tuned into, okay, what is the timeline where I'm with my soulmate? And then I wrote about it as if it was already my life. That's one of my favorite practices, is to love gush about life. So even now with all the beautiful things happening, I'm sure you do something similar. I write, I'm like, oh my God, this is happening and this is happening. And I'm speaking on this stage and I just did my first, and I'm really love gushing and gratitude about my present state of life and counting my blessings and knowing that in doing that, they multiply in the organic way they're meant to. But so it's the practice of doing that with something that's not here because it's already available. So I would write, I am so grateful for this man who I can do yoga with and I can explore evolution and consciousness with, and, you know, who feels like this when I'm with him and we make love in this way. And I mean, I got down to the nitty gritty and just, I am so grateful in being in that feeling state. And then I close my journal. And I let it go because I'm like, I'm going to go back to the things that really light me up. And then a month later, when we met, I remember I went back to the journal entry and it was like everything pretty much to a T. So, you know, I love that. What do you love? Staying in connection to what you love so you can
What would I
magnetize
love?
from love.
What would I love?
What would I love?
What would I love? Because then you answer it. You're like, ooh, right now I would love a yoga class or ecstatic dance.
Or a cup of cacao or a self-pleasure
Or a
session.
nap. Yeah.
Yeah. And then
hmm
if you want to be in that prayer with the masculine, I'm sure you did pieces like this too. You said writing about your dream man, but not writing about it from I want this and from lack, but from fullness and love and gratitude, and then letting it go. Maybe
It's
even
really,
burning it, giving it to the earth or the ocean.
yeah. It's like daydreaming, you know? It's like allow yourself to daydream of what you would love in life and a person. Yeah.
Full permission to be delusional in the name of love.
Amen.
And then when it happens, you're like, oh, okay, there was some magic. There's some magic involved.
Because you're living it, right? The world is gonna keep reflecting us, right? That's been my experience, and it's gonna give us insights into where we're vibrating, right? And so it's a very
Absolutely.
humbling journey to look
Hmm.
at it all, and then to get to this place where you're looking at around and you're like, oh my God, I dreamt of this one day, and I'm in it, you know?
Yeah, where you're
Yeah.
living the answered prayer. And I
hmm
think both you and I can attest to that with where we're sitting and living right now. And the prayer of the better it gets, the better it gets, because it really does get better. And the prayer of God, please show me how good it gets. And then being grateful for all the iterations of goodness that are gifted to you.
Yes, 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 yes. It is so
Yeah.
much gratitude and the best is yet to come. Like knowing that it's on its way, even juicier and like more fun and playful and sexier, all the things that you love. Because we're expanding, right? We just keep expanding and having the capacity to hold more if we're regulating our nervous system, right? If we're honoring this body that we're in, doing everything we can to just breathe and chill a little, yeah?
Yeah. Yes, the best is yet to come. Something I keep saying too is just like, oh, it's only getting hotter from here. It's getting hotter and sweeter and more loving and miracle drenched. And, like you were sharing earlier, that power of prayer and like really letting prayer be, almost like breathing. How can we be in that communion with God? And then even seeing ailments as okay, this is love in disguise, but it's got a curriculum in it for me. So I would love for you to share where people can come and decode that curriculum with you and everything you have on offer.
Yeah. So if people want like body mind mapping, you look it up and go on your journey and heal yourself. You go to soulmedicine.com and then you'll see like a Heal Your Life Now. And it'll just take you right there with all the details. And we could do something special for your people. We'll talk about it after, and you can let them know for a little savings just because they're hearing this through you. And Zoe's so cool. Yeah, and I want it to be easy for people to be the healer for themselves, for their tribe, for their little family, right? To help their children and loved ones. It's like, yeah. And then on Instagram, I share my life there. Nikki Jade .xoxo. And just send me a message. I love saying hi. What stood out for you in this conversation? And yeah, let's be human together and love this
Yeah.
life.
And love this life.
Love this life. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and for those of you ladies listening that have been on this path of preparing for union and maybe teetering into the territory of obsession, reach out to Nikki, and as she shared in the episode, she has some codes for you and some deeper ways to be with that process.
Yeah. It's all about like just manifesting your dreams and having the capacity to hold it, right? And to
Absolutely.
keep holding it and loving it with gratitude.
Mhm.
Such a great combo, babe. Thanks for sharing this.
Thank you for coming on and sharing all your soul medicine and yeah, excited to continue to pulse in the prayer of how much better it can get for ourselves, for our families, for the world.
Amen, girl. Let's go.